Welcome to Women of a Certain Stage, the podcast redefining how we think about menopause. I'm your host, Lauren Churin, a passionate advocate for breaking the stigma and empowering individuals to navigate this transformational stage of life with confidence and clarity. Here, we're diving into a new era of menopause support, featuring expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable insights. Whether you're curious about building your personal menopause plan or you're looking to make an impact, you're in the right place. Let's embrace the change together. Beth, I am so excited to talk to you today. As I just said, you're my first actor graduate. Woo! And am I saying that right? I'm sure not. I hope not. But am I saying that right? Is it actor?
Yes.
As opposed to, yeah. So we now use the word actor for everyone who acts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's something,
not before.
Yeah, it's something that has been, it's a bit of a bone of contention, I think, for some people, because they feel like saying actress is fine, which it is, but to act is the verb. So an actor is a person who acts. And one of the things that I have really come down to through menopause, and perhaps it's partly because I'm Gen X and we're a bit, I am so tired of the default being male.
Yeah.
So actress, just to me, others us, right? So I know there are lots of people who think it's very pedantic and it's, who cares?
I don't. So I've been having Mondays are my podcast day, and I haven't done any podcast recordings for a few months because we did so many straight away that I had enough to see me through up until nearly the end of the year. So today I've been catching back up, and it's been great because I've been speaking to grads in the last couple of years, from last year, from this year, and I've had a lawyer in Dubai who's really passionate about diversity and inclusion. And we were talking about using the word guys. And she said, absolutely, using the word guys is really exclusionary for us as women. And I had another conversation with another one of my grads. And again, the whole diversity, the inclusion topic came up again. And it was just using the word girls and saying, we talk about the men and then we talk about the girls. And again, it's kind of like putting us back in that subservient place where we don't belong. Unless we choose to, right? But it's amazing the power of language, and you must know that more than anyone else with the work that you do. The power of not just the words we use, but how we use them as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very, and it's true. I mean, the idea of girls, it infantilizes us. So we're not to be taken seriously because we're not real. Yeah. No, I'm very much an advocate for women regaining their power, taking it back from those who would keep it from us.
Yeah, I agree. Beth, tell the people that are listening a little bit about who you are, where you're from, how did you get into doing acting and all of that good stuff?
Wow, it's a loaded question. Well, I've wanted to be an actor since I was a child. In fact, I remember the exact moment. I was watching the Bionic Woman.
Ooh, I remember that.
Lindsay Wagner, she was so cool. Yeah. It was like 1976, and she was playing in the scene. She was a substitute teacher, and the kids weren't paying any attention to her, so she picked up a Yellow Pages, right? And Yellow Pages back in the day, right? They were this thick. Ooh. And she ripped it in half to get their attention. And I remember I was 10 years old, and I remember seeing that, and I knew it was fake. I mean, I knew Lindsay Wagner herself couldn't actually do it, and I thought, that would be so much fun. How fun would it be to be able to pretend you could rip, And it was like, I understand now when people say it's a calling. When people who become priests or nuns or pastors or, say it was a calling, I get it. Too much of that. But then life took me in different directions. I was not able to pursue that. So I joined the Canadian military when I was 18, in part because it was what my father needed me to do, so he didn't have to worry about me. And so I did that for on and off almost 15 years.
Wow. That's long service.
It was a long time. Yeah, and then I mean, that's where I met my husband. So I mean, it was a wonderful life. I mean, it was genuinely a wonderful life. I had experiences and I met people that I would never have met otherwise. And I was so grateful for every moment of it. So that's where I met my husband. And then we had, oh my goodness, we lived in Colorado, and then we moved to Ottawa, and then we moved to Naples, Italy for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
We got to be in Italy for 3 years, and then we went to Virginia. And it was while I was in Italy that I reconnected with acting, because there was a little community theater on the American base. So I got back into theater, doing the Naples Community Theater.
There you go.
In Italy. So, so then when my husband retired and we moved back to my hometown, which is in the province of British Columbia, and there's a big film industry here, so I decided at the age of 50, how old was I? I was 51, 52, 53, something like that, when I decided to get into film and television. And
look at that.
Very fortunate. I've been very fortunate to be able to do that. And I've had some success. And I just love it. But yeah, I've done some really amazing things. After I left the military, I decided to go to university. It's one of the reasons I left a regular force and joined the reserves. Yeah. Was because I wanted to go to university. I studied anthropology.
Oh, very interesting. I did social anthropology.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. So I was specializing, or I'd hoped to specialize in primatology. So I spent a month in Panama learning how to collect data on primates. And then that same professor asked me to go with her as a research assistant when she went to her yearly trek to Madagascar.
Oh, wow.
So I got to spend, oh my God. So 2.5 months in living out of a tent in Madagascar with no electricity, no running water. It was,
oh, heaven.
It was the most, honestly, it was the most amazing experience. And it was, and being so far away from a town, we were like, an hour's drive from the nearest town. And I remember the full moon. It was like the middle of the day because there was no ambient light anywhere. So it was like the full moon. It was like in the middle of the day. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It was
amazing. So, oh my gosh. I mean, that's just a snippet, right? Yeah. So for everyone listening, right, we talk to our grads, we talk to our experts, but it just goes to show the variety of people that have incredible life experiences that come to then think about training to do something in the menopause space. And when did you start to think that might be something that you might like to do?
Well, it was my experiences as an actor and talking to other women my age, because this is a brutal industry for aging women, right? I mean, we are expected to sort of, not unlike in real life, disappear at the age of 35, and you don't see us again till we're 65, and now we're the grandmothers and the crones and the the busybody next door neighbor. So I want to have some. A friend of mine is going into psychology. She's also an actor. And I said, I'd love to be able to be of service to my fellow actors in some way. And I wasn't sure how to do it. And I was thinking about going back to school myself, getting a psychology degree, maybe becoming a life coach. I didn't really know what that meant. And I was talking to a lady who said, well, why don't you become a menopause coach? And I had no idea what that meant. No idea what that meant. So I started doing some research, and I thought, wow, because it struck me, because I knew nothing about menopause. I was in it. I was past it. I was fully menopausal. I knew nothing. And so I did some research, and I came upon Women of a Certain Stage. And I read through what the program was about and how it was delivered, and I knew that it was the right one for me. Because there's so many others out there that are, they give you the handbook and they say, well, you have to do this exercise and that exercise and do these homework assignments. But there was no live interaction. And that's not for me. I needed the cohort. I needed you. I needed a live session where I could stick my hand up and say, I don't get it. Or have other people say, well, this has been my experience.
Yeah.
It was just, and so, yeah, it was so very, very clear to me after we had our initial talk that it was the right course for me.
Yeah.
And through the program, I'm just so, I got my certificate today, so I'm very excited.
Yay!
I got that today.
Congratulations. I saw that. I saw it go out. Yeah.
Very excited. So yeah, I just knew it was right. And I never doubted through the 18-week program. Every week I was just so grateful to be there, even though I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do it.
You were so good. I was so impressed. You were there. You were on it. I was very impressed because we had Emma in Sydney at the opposite end at 11 o'clock at night, and you starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So both of you, I mean, your dedication was amazing. I was really impressed. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was worth it. I know there was somebody from California. I can't remember who it was, but there's somebody from California as well. But yeah, no, I knew that it was the right thing, and I was very, very grateful that I had made that choice. And everything I learned, and being able to pass it on to my 2 practice clients was so beneficial to them and to me. And they both came out of it saying they were doing it really almost as a favor. Yeah. Like one of them in particular, it was really just a favor to me because, we've known each other for a while, and she had coached me, and because she's a coach as well in the acting world. But they actually came out of it like, this was really good. It helped. They learned a lot. Aww. I learned a lot through that process of taking them through it. So it's been, it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's amazing. And, I think that you make a really interesting point because there's so much choice in the market. And you're right. There's a lot. I'm actually I'm eyeing a manual that arrived because I sign up for everyone's courses, right? And I do them all. So, because I want to know what's out there. I want to know how they're created. I want to know, and I want to learn. I want to make sure that, I'm keeping mine at the forefront. So a new manual arrived today, and not mentioning any names, but I flicked through. Information looks quite good. Worksheets look quite good. But who's going to assess me? How is anyone going to give me feedback? Where's my fellow students to brainstorm with and debate stuff with? And that's why I chose to put a live program on, because I knew when I went through menopause, I didn't know I'd gone through menopause, but I knew that I'd been very alone. I knew that I didn't have anyone to talk to. I knew I didn't have any community. I was too busy being, a parent to my son and working. And there wasn't much time for anything else. So I think one of the core things for me has always been about bringing people together and creating community. And we get so much more done when we get more brains in the room and we bring more experiences. And we had your cohort, was such a beautiful cohort and such diverse backgrounds and parts of the world. And I just thought it was absolutely magical having the privilege to kind of, work with you all and be through that journey. But you can't get that from an online program. And I think that's the difference.
And I jokingly, but really, I refer to myself as an information junkie. I need to know things. I need to understand. Like, if you tell me something is this way, it was one of the reasons that me in the military, I loved it, but we had our issues because I was always why. I was the person who would always say, "You want me to pick up that giant boulder and move it over there? Okay. Why? I don't do it. I'd like to know what. I don't get it. So having that ability to say, okay, we have this information that we've gotten, but I don't really understand its connection or whatever. Being able to interact with you and with my fellow students was invaluable.
Yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because children always ask why. Their little brains are naturally curious. They're always going, why? And when you answer, it's like, why? And then then you tell them something else, and it's like, why? And they just keep drilling down and drilling down and drilling down. It's just very natural curiosity. And then it gets beaten out of them in the school system. And I think it's so valuable to be able to just ask that question and really question why. Well, you've always done it that way. Yeah, but why?
Yes. Why? Yeah. If we had more time, I would tell you about the monkeys and the bananas.
Oh, tell me.
Oh, it's I learned this in cultural anthropology. It was it was a research study they did. They took a group of monkeys, like 10 or 12 chimpanzees. They put them in a room with stairs. And at the top of the stairs, they would drop a banana. And one of the monkeys would go to grab the banana, and they would get squirted with water. They hate water. So they were like, oh my God, so you're going. So, but then another one would try, and they'd get squirted with water. Like they would all get squirted with water. And eventually, anytime anybody tried to go and get one of they would all attack that person. Don't go. We're all going to get squirted with water. We hate it. So once that lesson had been thoroughly learned, they started taking out the original cohort of chimpanzees and putting in a new one. And the new one would, oh, banana, yay! And they would get attacked. Like, why am I being attacked? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then they would take out a second of the original cohort, and then a third and a fourth, until eventually the entire room was filled with chimpanzees who had never been squirted with water, ever. But they still would attack anybody who tried to get a banana.
Yeah.
And the entire point of it was that this is just what we do. You know, this is how it is. They had no idea why.
Yeah.
It's just what they do.
It's such a powerful story, isn't it?
Incredible, powerful research that they did and study that they did to show basically, it's not just corporate.
Behavior.
We were talking about corporate, but they were certainly talking like humanity in general. So that we do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you think about how many years have women suffered in silence with menopause? How many years have they not questioned their doctor? How many years have they been told to go away or been fobbed off by the medical system, and they've just shut up, put up, and gotten on with it? And all of a sudden, we're a new generation. Things are different. We're starting to push for more and do things differently. It's almost like we're the new cohort that's coming along, and we're starting that all over again. But we do have a way to go, because I think, again, you know, we go through school, we might go through university or further education or not. We might go into the workplace, and we lose that questioning ability, that, you know, challenge and that why. And then we conform and conform and conform and conform, the majority of people anyway. And then we end up working for organizations, doing and behaving in a way that they want us to, and we can lose our own identity. Then along comes menopause, and that feels like the rug's been pulled from under our feet for many of us, and some not so much, obviously. But I think menopause is a really good opportunity and a really good time for people to reassess who they are and what direction, what trajectory they're on. I think that's one of the magical things about menopause as well.
Well, one of the reasons I wanted to do it, one of the reasons I wanted to become a menopause coach, is because I want women to stop accepting that this is just the way it is. We've been told, well, of course you can't sleep. Of course you have hot flashes. Of course you're gaining weight. Of course you have itchy ears. What's the itchy ears?
Oh, I had that one. I had that one for 3 years.
Oh, it's so weird. But we're just supposed to accept it, you know?
Yeah.
And if it happened, and you know, if this happened to men, oh my goodness,
it'd be fixed.
It would be a national, But for women, we're just told to put up with it. And I'm just contrary enough that I refuse to accept that. And I, you know, as I said, I mean, I didn't know anything about menopause when I went through it. And I was very lucky. Don't get me wrong. I was very lucky. The worst things that happened to me, I had trouble sleeping. I have hot flashes. You know, a little brain fog, a little, you know, my overwhelm bar is a little bit higher or lower, I suppose, rather than it used to be. But I just don't think we have to do it anymore. We just have to. And this isn't something we ever talked about. I mean, my mother passed away when she was 55, so I never got a chance to ask her what it was like for her. And I do think that it's time that we embrace this stage of our lives. Instead of willingly, you know, tying the babushka around our heads and disappearing into a corner so that no one has to look at us because, oh my gosh, we're old. You know, HD double hockey sticks to that. I don't think it's necessary, and I would like to be part of the new generation that, as you say, you know, we're changing this one conversation at a time, and that's what it takes. If I can convince one woman who feels like she doesn't matter anymore because she's no longer young, she's no longer able to have a child, that she doesn't matter anymore. If I can convince one woman that that's just not true, that she's now embrace your elder status and embrace the freedom you now have.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The
wisdom, the maturity. We've got so much. We've got so much to give. And by society putting us to one side, it just really is losing so much more than it's gaining. And, you know, you say, I'd like to be part of. You are part of.
Yeah.
You're there. You're doing it. You've graduated. You're walking that path, which I'm really grateful for. What was the kind of key thing from the program? If someone was thinking about doing it, what was the key thing that you really took away from it all?
I think it was just the sense of how that knowledge about lots of things, you know, like really actually understanding the cycle and menopause and, you know, hydration. I finally figured out after 10 years why I never felt thirsty. Like, oh, there's a reason for that. I think I feel so empowered because of what I understand now. So that even if, because I know that there are people in our cohort that were thinking about not taking on clients, they just wanted to do this for themselves.
Yeah. Originally.
Originally, they probably, they may have changed their minds. But I feel so much more empowered. I feel so much more like I have control over something that I had previously been taught to be terrified of. You know, my whole life, right? The change is coming. And it was such something that was supposed to be so scary. And now I realize it's not. And it's because I have this information. Information is power. Knowledge is power.
And how did you find the experts that you learned from during the program?
That was one of the other reasons that I picked this program through Women of a Certain Stage, because you had people who were literal experts in their fields, in this area, coming to talk to us. And I learned so much from them.
Yeah. I learned something from, I mean, although I've run it multiple times, there's always some new nuggets of information because they're current and they're up to date and they're using the latest research and the latest information. And that's something else you don't get from a book or, you know, a manual. So,
And just knowing that there are people out there who are paying attention and who are genuinely interested in genuinely fighting to get more information out there so that we have more to be able to go to our doctor. Because that's the other thing. I want my clients to have information that they can go to their doctors with and say, you can't discount this. This is something that's important. And, you know, you can't pat me on the head and tell me that it's just, oh, well, you're 55, you're 56. What do you expect? I expect this because I understand that now.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So what's next? You've done the program, you've got your certificate. What's your next step? Where are you going? What's your plans?
Well, I actually have had a conversation with a gentleman who runs a mental health organization specifically devoted to the film industry. I had a conversation with him last week. We're looking at perhaps doing a collaboration so that, you know, they'll reference me on their page. I'm in the process of setting up a website so that I will be able to, you know, like a professional website. I actually said to my husband last night, I'm like, I'm sorry, honey, but I tried to do this on my own. I've had to accept that I am not able to set up a website for myself. So I'm getting a professional to help me with that. And just trying to get the word out. And you know, I'm doing posts on Instagram and on Facebook. And again, you know, I'm trying to, I found a photo that I wanted to use for the hydration post, because I was going to do a post today on hydration. And I found a picture that's really funny. And I thought, maybe I should do something more professional. And then I thought, you know what? This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is my sense of humor. This is, and so, so it's getting more comfortable with being a businesswoman, which is new for me, and getting my voice out there. Because again, you know, part of the imposter syndrome is that there's so many more people out there who know better, they're more experienced, they're better at hosting, they're better at doing,
Yeah, but can they come up with the goods? Are they qualified? Have they got the training? Did they have the knowledge? Or are they just, is it all show? We have an expression here. Well, I won't say the expression, but yeah, is it all show? Or is there actually some substance to their work? And I think that's part of the challenge, I think, running a business is that we need to be good marketers. We need to be good networkers. We need to go out there and be able to blow our own trumpet. And that feels really hard for most women.
Hard. Yeah, it is.
It's really hard. But if we don't do it, people don't know we're available to work with them.
Right. Well, and I also would like, I guess if someone feels most comfortable with a coach who is very professional and very, I'm professional, obviously, but I just mean, I have a sense of humor, and there are going to be people, I think, who want to work with someone who has my sense of humor.
Exactly.
And so I'm making that known.
Yeah. And I think the reality is I love that. And I think the more I don't think I know that the more authentic we are, the more we attract the right people to work with us. And people always say to me, why do you meet everybody before they come on the program? Why don't your team do it? Or why don't you just have a link online? I'm like, we're together for 18 quite intense weeks. And not intense in any other way other than there can be some personal moments and there can be some big shares and there can be a few tears. And actually you want to make sure that you've got a cohort that is mutually supportive of one another. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure you're attracting people that you have some similarity to. And I think whether I'm attracting people as coaching clients or as students on the Menopause Coach program, if I don't show up authentically as me, when we end up working together, someone's going to be in for a shock. So that's why we have to show up as authentically as possible. So you've got to bring your personality and your humor and everything, all of you, to the work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the appropriate parts.
All the appropriate parts.
Yeah. And within that, we are professional, but how we show up is to do with who we are as individuals as well.
Right, exactly.
So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So what sort of activities are you thinking of, or what are you doing to let people know when it's there, that your website's available, that you're available to do work with? You've spoken to the man with the mental health organization. Who else are you reaching out to, and how else are you letting people know that you're available?
Well, I'm a bit, it's funny because most people don't think of actors as being shy, but I'm really quite shy. Most of us are, actually, which is kind of odd. As I said at the beginning, right? Give me a character to be, and I can be that. But you want me to be me? That's a bit. But so I'm trying to connect with mental health folk as well. Like that's sort of one of the main things. Yeah. I'm reaching out to, because I'm on the women's committee of my actors union here in BC. So I'm reaching out through them. We also have an extended health company. I don't know what the word is. An extended health organization for actors, and I'm reaching out to them as well about possible, making sure that they're aware that there are women out there who need support through menopause, and for that to be a covered expense. And again, with Instagram, with Facebook, just sort of letting people know that I'm doing it. Yeah. My 2 practice clients, we're talking to folk as well. Yeah. So yeah, and there's women's groups online in my community that that I would like to join, but then I get really nervous about it because I'm like, well, I shouldn't really join and then say, hi, by the way, I'm a menopause coach. Like it just feels really
that's what they're there for.
Disingenuous, but that's sort of what they're there for. Yeah. So
they are.
That's many. Yeah.
We rise by lifting each other, and that's what these networking groups are for. It took me a long time to get my head around it because I really don't particularly naturally enjoy networking. Yeah. I'll go to a networking place and I'll be the one that picks up the cups and puts them back, or goes and gets someone a cup of water so I don't actually have to talk to anybody. Yes. I am hopeless. I am so bad at it. I'd much rather stand on stage and do a talk. And that way I don't have to actually interact with anyone in a direct capacity. No, that sounds dreadful, but
no, I believe it. I'm the person who sort of stands in a corner sipping my coffee. Yeah.
I'm such an introvert. I do a talk and then I have to recover for the next couple of hours.
Oh yeah, it's a real thing. Introverts are drained by social interactions. It is. It's something that's hard to overcome.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But I think I love the fact that you're going down the mental health route. That for me speaks volumes, because mental health and menopause is so intricately linked. And I love your logo. That is just magical. I think it's beautiful. It's appealing. It's very professional. But I really, obviously I see all my grads stuff. I try and track and see what everyone's doing and support in every way that I can. But I just thought yours looked absolutely lovely and very welcoming.
I played with it for a while. And I decided, a menopause path is my business name. And I chose it in part because my husband and I used to joke that if we started a business together, we would call it Path, because it's the first two letters of his name and the last two letters of mine. And it just seemed to fit. It just seemed so perfect. So, but then I decided to actually turn it into an acronym. So it's Power, Action, Truth, and Health.
Ooh, love it.
So the way I think of it is that going through the menopause plan with me, my goal for you is that you will be able to reclaim your power to take action, find your own truth in this journey, and get to a healthy relationship with yourself is basically the sort of underpinning of all of that. So, yeah.
And what's your website name going to be?
Well, my website name is actually just going to be my name, BethFotheringham.com. I haven't set it up yet, but because I thought, it's going to be easier, I think, for people to remember. And, so that if people are looking me up because they see me in a TV show, and, and then they'll see that I also am, I'm also a menopause coach, that I am, that's my duality. So, so that will be what that is. Yeah. So, they just have to remember how to spell Fotheringham, but that's,
Do you want to spell it for anyone listening to be absolutely critically clear that they know?
It's Foth. Most people put FA because it sounds like father, but it's Foth. ERINGHAM.
There we go.
It was so funny when our first trip as a couple, after we got married, we went on a trip to London. And we got to the hotel, and my husband, we get handed over our passports, and he said, reservations for Fotheringham, FOT. And the desk clerk looked at him like, yeah, I know how to spell Fotheringham. And we were like, we have to move here.
Brilliant.
Spell our name.
Yeah. I wouldn't think twice about it, but it's interesting, isn't it? Different parts of the world.
Oh, you would not believe the iterations of Fotheringham that we have run into in North America.
Yeah, I have a few with children.
Yes, I can imagine.
Definitely. Yeah, that's usually, how's that spelled? T? I'm like, no, C.
No, C.
Anyway. Yeah, very, very interesting. Look, I have been so delighted to have the opportunity to get, one of the reasons I love doing the podcast is I actually get a sneaky wee bit of extra time with you that I don't get when we're doing the program. Yeah. So I get to know something new about you. I get to hear your journey and your story in a way that doesn't come through in the program, because in the program we're pretty focused and we're going through a journey and we're on a mission. So I'm really grateful for the time you spent with me today, and I look forward to getting this all edited and getting it ready to share with you. It will probably be November.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking this time. Like I said, I was really nervous about doing it because I thought, who the heck am I to be on a podcast? But I really appreciate you making it easy and fun and just normal, natural.
Cool. My pleasure.
Be on a podcast.
Hey, you've done it. Well, hey. Thank you for joining me on Women of a Certain Stage. I hope today's episode inspired you to think differently about menopause and the incredible opportunities this stage of life brings. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends who need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us reach even more people. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lauren Turin, or visit our website at womenofacertainstage.com to learn more about menopause coaching, inspiring events, and corporate training. Until next time, let's continue making a difference, one conversation at a time.